England squared the series at Old Trafford and they come to Trent Bridge 2-2 in this 6 Test match series. A tremendous performance up there and a very heartening one for Michael Atherton and his men. Not quite so for Richie Richardson, who had more problems at Trent Bridge this morning. First of all, there was Carl Hooper. The opening batsman is out with a finger injury that hampered him at Old Trafford. Then there's Jimmy Adams, struck in the head by a bouncer in the match following the Old Trafford game. He's out of the side. And Junior Murray, although he looked to have lost form in the last Test match, is said to be suffering from an injury and is unavailable to play. And that great fast bowler, Curtly Ambrose, is also out of the side. Muscle spasms this morning, and he can't take his place in the final 11. In comes Stuart Williams, who made 100 after the Old Trafford Test match. And that very good left-hander, Shivnarine Chanderpaul, only a young player, but comes with a big reputation. He hit 100 off the Somerset attack straight after that Old Trafford loss. As wicket-keeper, we have Courtney Brown. It's his second cap for the West Indies, takes the place of Junior Murray, and he also took Junior Murray's place in the recent Test match against the Australians in Jamaica. You don't see too many leg spinners in West Indian Test match teams, but here's Rajendra Danraj, who is a very talented bowler. I've seen him bowl only on television. Looks to me as though he has a bit about him. Welcome to the highlights of the opening day of this Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. We've had 4 good matches so far, 2 of them very exciting at Lord's and at Old Trafford. And the England side is confirmed here. This is the way it looks. Michael Atherton, Nick Knight, John Crawley, Graham Thorpe, Graham Hick. Then White, Russell, Watkinson, Cork, Illingworth and Fraser. Recalls there for both Hick and Illingworth. And the West Indies, we've noted their injury problems. They have many changes there. Williams, Campbell, Lara, Richardson, Atherton, Chanderpaul, Courtney Brown, Bishop, Benjamin, Walsh and Danraj. And the 2 captains, Michael Atherton and Richie Richardson, went out to the centre for the toss, and then they talked with Tony Lewis.
Morning, Mike. You've won the toss, and what's the decision?
Well, we'll bat. It looks a pretty good deck and hope to try and get some runs on the board.
And how have you settled your side?
We've left Mark Ilott and Alan Wells out the 13.
How's your back?
It's all right. Get twinges every now and again, but I'm holding up.
Did I read you were jumping around in pads?
No, it's not me. Too strenuous for me.
Well, no problems there for Michael Atherton, deciding to bat on what looks to be a very, very good pitch, an absolute belter, and on an extremely fast outfield. Here's Geoffrey Boycott now to tell us a little more about the strip on which the 2 teams will perform.
Well, this is Ron, the groundsman's last Test match pitch. He's retiring and he's created an absolute beauty, one of the best I've seen here. It's very dry and straw-coloured. You can't see any green grass. There's no dampness in it. You can see already the cracks appearing, just to show you how dry it is. It's very firm, quite hard. If we go down here on a seam bowler's length, you look here, it's beautiful. There isn't a blade of grass out of place, no greenness, no dampness, nothing patchy, nice root growth. It's an absolute batsman's dream. It should be medium pace, not too quick, and there should be no reason for complaint by any player on either side on this surface.
Doesn't sound as though there'll be any problems there for either Michael Atherton or Richie Richardson. Just confirming that England won the toss and batting, and Nigel Plews and Cyril Mitchley are the umpires. Standing here, third umpire is George Sharp. We join play now with the first ball of the second over. Ian Bishop is the bowler. Michael Atherton, the England skipper, is taking strike. No wickets down and no runs on the board.
Well, that's the first test for Courtney Brown, very wide down the leg side. Signalled as 4 byes by Cyril Mitchley. Very wild delivery. And Courtney Brown, keeping for the first time in this series, saw it move further and further away. He's a tall man, Courtney Brown, couldn't reach it. And the first run's off the bat. Mike Atherton just guiding that all the way down to third man.
Yes, he just relaxed the hands here, played it sort of semi-defensive, let it run off the face. Wasn't totally sure where it was going, but he was in control. He knew it was going on the floor.
Loose.
that was a dreadful shot. It just came out of nowhere. Nick Knight played nice and safe and sound until suddenly has a rush of blood. I think that will have encouraged Courtney Walsh, that sort of shot.
A gentle chase round the boundary for Ian Bishop. 2 more runs. Big appeal. That was the slower ball again from Courtney Walsh. That's the way that Nick Knight was out in the first innings at Old Trafford. The slower ball deceived him. He's managed to get a bat on that one. That'll be 4. Just played really with the swing by Mike Atherton. Nothing more than a guided shot. Nicely timed, let the ball come to him and just helped it on its way. Nice comfortable start so far for England.
Between the slips, Chanderpaul and Williams, the 2 men at second and third slip. They're having a little discussion now as to how it got through, whether or not it was anyone's fault, could they have done better? And the answer probably is yes.
I think the disappointing thing from the West Indies point of view is that that was a genuine edge and it still didn't carry to second or third slip.
Courtney Walsh changes the line here, and then there's some hesitation from the batsman. Shivnarine Chanderpaul quickly onto that, but of course the batsmen have already cleared the single.
Beautifully bowled. A lovely outswinger, which to the left-hander was an in-swinger, and then it kept moving after it hit the seam.
This is exactly what he is well known for, Kenny Benjamin. He does move the ball a lot. Surprising, though, that he started on a very short run.
5 runs in an hour for Nick Knight. The importance for England is not to have the partnership broken. We're well aware they're on a good batting pitch and it's been a good toss to win. Knight's had the bulk of the strike as well, 51 balls to 36 for Atherton.
Oh, that's well bowled and well played. And as I described the batsman's dilemma, I see not a flicker of sympathy at all in the eye of Colin Croft.
Oh, this the first ball has actually done this. It was just short of a good length, so it would not be considered a short ball, but it bounced a little bit more than perhaps even Courtney Walsh expected. Mike Atherton played it well in the end, just dropping his hand and allowing the ball to bounce off the bat and not really carry. But that was well bowled by Courtney Walsh.
Well, there's a man down there. That was aimed much squarer than that. This is Kenny Benjamin's 3rd over. And he's bowled 2 maidens so far. And what's been impressive is not only the line, but also the length he's bowled. And a big shout there for LBW.
First genuine shout this morning for an LBW, perhaps too high and might have even beat leg stump. It worth a shout, especially under these conditions where 1 wicket is going to be very vital.
So a positive move here by Richie Richardson. Danraj from Trinidad. the prospect he faces is not of whipping out the whole England batting order, but having a long bowl, I hope, and just winkling a couple of wickets out, and that would be a proper contribution to the West Indies effort. I took a walk along the River Trent this morning, all sorts of bird life. Now you see the swans, but it was the heron waiting for breakfast which intrigued me most. Rajendra Danraj. Easy, comfortable shot. Straight out of the textbook.
Yes, I just feel with Nick Knight that something's got to happen in his batting at the moment. He needs a slice of luck, maybe an inside edge that goes for 4 of anything, just to get his score moving. He's stuck a bit.
Well, no doubt about that. Had plenty of time just to pick his spot. It's a slow pitch here at Trent Bridge today, and if Danraj is going to drop short... It's a slow pitch here at Trent Bridge today, and if Danraj is going to drop short, then Mike Atherton is going to take full advantage. Lovely shot from Mike Atherton. Pure class. Just timed away and hit dead straight down the ground. Takes Mike Atherton on to 36 and England on to 50.
Well, there's just no margin for error for any bowler, particularly the spinner who bowls it much slower than the seamers. I think you've got to set a field and try and get the batsman driving through the offside.
Hooked up and safely.
Well, attempted to bouncer off a short run-up, but you're going to have to bowl a lot quicker than that if you're going to bounce anybody on this pitch. I mean, Michael Atherton didn't have to get in a perfect position to hit that well. There's no real pace or bounce in this pitch, and to really surprise a batsman, you're going to have to put some work into it.
Ooh, a slice of luck there for Mike Atherton. Picks up 4 runs for it. But Kenny Benjamin looked to beat him for pace.
Yes, we said through the series that Kenny Benjamin has the ability to kind of skid it onto batsmen and just surprise you a little bit. No great bounce in that, was there? It was only going to clip top of off stump, maybe, if Michael hadn't inside edged it. It's just that it skidded onto Michael a little bit quicker.
Beautifully played, just used his feet, made what little ground he needed, hit it on the full toss and found the gap perfectly.
It skidded onto Michael a little bit quicker.
Beautifully played, just used his feet, made what little ground he needed, hit it on the full toss and found the gap perfectly. The first boundary for Nick Knight today.
Yes, it was a nice shot as well. He just used his feet. I think there'll be a nice sense of relief in the England dressing room. Played quite nicely defensively. But the players will be aware as well, his teammates, that he just needed a run or two.
Definitely worth a shout. It did turn just a little. By the time it got up to the stumps, it may well have missed. But definitely worth a yell.
Interesting, I think, that the wicketkeeper started appealing before it had actually hit the pad. And it take a little bit of guile from him to get the batsman out. Mike Atherton, in the meantime, looking quite organized, very relaxed, just pitched outside leg stump and just let it turn. I think this is the problem with the leg spin bowler. He bowls perhaps 3 or 4 good balls and then one ball that gives the batsman a little bit of leeway. Immediately he would puncture.
Always the second bounce.
Atherton, I think, misfield. He recognized he's made a mistake. The ball does turn away on the second bounce. Right smile from him when it passed him.
4 taken from that over. Didn't deserve that to happen. Ball from right hand to left. He takes his right arm side, gets into a nice smooth action. Last ball of that over, and that might have been the overspinner. Is that slower ball again? And it certainly defeated Nick Knight.
Well, this guy's slow ball by Courtney Walsh. Shout. If anything, I think might just have been beating leg stump.
Batsman's heart would have leapt there for a fraction of a second, and certainly so would the bowlers. Just got the inside edge onto that. Well, he might have been saved by the off stump as well and playing a stroke, but it was a very good delivery. That's a cracking stroke from a slightly over-pitched delivery from Courtney Walsh. Doesn't provide too many of those.
And the 100 comes up. One tonight, 100 for England without loss, Knight 29 and Atherton 66.
Michael Atherton, since he's been captain, he's done everything really that could be asked of him to set the right example. That's beaten everyone. Racing away to the boundary. That's got away behind square on the offside. Counterpole giving chase, but to no avail. It's going to be a long wait for Graham Thorpe. Listed to come in at 4.
Very welcome. Next night now. On 244. He didn't pick it, but got it away for at least 2. Three runs for the Knight, 3 fielders for the Windies. Still counts. So the one he didn't pick, it's just gone away, just meant to be the wrong one. Might have turned a fraction. And Richie Richardson, two others doing the chasing. Shot for 4. So in the last couple of overs he's unleashed two very good boundaries to take him to his half century. His first one in Test cricket. The first time he hit Arthur and away over mid-wicket, and then off the front foot he's thrashed Benjamin away to take him to 51.
Oh, fine shot. Straightforward enough as a full toss from Danraj, but nevertheless nicely timed away.
The day's been that sort of day. It's just gone along. It's very hot. There's been nothing great happening in the cricket. Just England have gone along steadily.
That's got him. Surely that's got him. McKnight leaving the ball alone. And the judged LBW to the bowling of Kent. Wicket falls at 148, and McKnight's careful vigil ended on 57.
Well, I was saying this afternoon that I felt on this pitch it would have to be a miscalculation by the batsman. I couldn't see the bowlers making the ball do anything unusual, and that's as plumb as you'll get on the back foot. It's total miscalculation. Just let it go. Get him somewhere around middle and off. Nice steady innings, giving England a very, very good platform. But I think in some ways, I don't think they'll be that unhappy that he's done a good job, that he's actually out. I think England will probably want to get the scoreboard just ticking over a little bit more. New batsman is John Crawley.
That's found plenty of space at the mid-wicket. Carbon copy of a shot that Mike Allison played this morning when Danraj dropped short. This pitch is slow enough that really once the ball is short from the slow bowlers, the batsman can just place it where he would. That's a good shot. Nice piece of work too. Right out on the edge of the field there from Brian Lara. Fine shot. Rose to that challenge. Could have been a passing wasp, could have been a passing cricket ball.
Yes, I like this shot. He was into it very quick, was John Crawley. There was nothing half-hearted about it. He was expecting one eventually, and when it came, he was really going to go after it.
Well, he's found the gap at mid-wicket. Enough to get him two more. Two balls left in the over, and I'm sure Mike Atherton will be very happy just to add this extra run within those two balls. Oh, so close. Close to the hundreds, close to a nasty little nick as well.
An extraordinary shot, really, though, on 99. He's already had 199 in his career. And this sort of pitch is made for him to get 200 if he wants.
That's a great shot. Right on top of that one, John Crawley. really just punched it through that offside.
Well, I think this is as good a shot as we've seen today. It's from a batsman who's just come in, remember. So he hasn't had the opportunity to get the pace of the pitch or get used to anything. That was a gorgeous shot.
That'll do nicely. Just had to scurry at the end, but that's Michael Atherton's 100.
Caught him. Brilliant catch. Superb catch at first slip. John Corey goes for 14. Stuart Williams, the catcher. Kenny Benjamin enjoying success. 179 for 2.
Kenny Benjamin is known as a wicket taker, and here he's bowling just maybe short of a good length, a little bit more bounce than Crawley wanted. And coming off a genuine edge, Stuart Williams moving nicely to his right, taking it where I suppose second slip would have been.
Trevor Thorpe is the incoming batsman. So that's a very good catch, and the second wicket down, 179 for 2 wickets.
Ian Bishop, I think, having a change of boots. This is the second time he's had this happen today. Hot conditions, so you need to be comfortable.
Edged away, very fine. Ian Bishop's got his boots on now, but won't be able to catch it. And neither was Stuart Williams able to launch himself from first slip. Genuine edge from Mike Atherton. Well, he's got the new boots. If he runs out of hats, that's where to get a new one from. All stock must be cleared before the end of the Test match. Oh, beautifully timed. That really was a sweet shot.
But this is just excellent timing, just short of a good length, outside off stump, and Mike Atherton immediately onto the back foot and just timing it off the middle of the bat sweetly.
That's the fine shot. Ian Bishop has not really loosened up for this spell yet. That one didn't swing. And Graham thought happy just to thump it down the ground. That's a lovely shot. You don't see many better shots than that for timing, placement. Only a coach in the country will be applauding that shot for the straightness of the hit and the ease of the shot. That boundary also bringing up the 200. It's taken England 328 minutes, the best part of 5.5 hours.
That's tight. That is very tight. That's brilliant work by the fielder at mid-on. And Atherton wasn't expecting it. The fielder had to run on an angle, and Atherton, well, if not loafing, wasn't giving it everything in the big ones. Well, Atherton has a problem. Another England wicket goes down. Atherton run out at Old Trafford and now run out again at Trent Bridge at Old Trafford when the team was chasing runs. And here, after he'd made 113. That's a great ovation for Michael Atherton, well deserved too. He's batted right through from the start of play until 5:35. And the night watchman comes in now, Richard Illingworth, still with 8 overs to play today on a beautiful batting pitch and in the most perfect conditions imaginable. 206 for 3. Always difficult when the main batsman in the pair has the night watchman in with him. Too many more of those and we'll have Angus Fraser out there.
Beauty. He's got him. Well bowled. He's got him. Yeah. Must have been a very, very faint nick. Graham Thorpe waiting for the umpire's decision. That was beautifully bowled by Ian Bishop. Lovely line and length. He's been aiming at round about middle and off. Just got it to leave the left-hander. And that's great delight for Ian Bishop. He thoroughly earned that by a good line. He's been bowling at Graham Thorpe.
Now then, we have a problem. Who comes out now? I would think it would have to be the original batsman, Graham Hick.
Well, that's quite right, Richie. You can't have two night watchmen in on such a benign, easy pitch.
Great stroke. Illingworth has been past the outside edge half a dozen times out there. And that was a good one. One more run added to take the total at the end of the day up to 227 for 4. Michael Atherton 113, Nick Knight 57. That was a good opening stand of 148. Then John Crawley 14, Graham Thorpe 19. The West Indies fought back there, and Richard Illingworth, the night watchman, unbeaten on 8 at the end, and Graham Hick on 6. 10 extras, 227 for 4. And the West Indies, they stuck to it very well, I thought. Did a good job today. England could have got away and made something around about the 300 mark on that pitch and in these conditions. Walsh none for 61. The wicket takers, Bishop 1 for 41 and Benjamin 2 for 36. Dan Rose 77 from 24 overs and Atherton 8 from 4 overs. So both sides will be reasonably pleased. Michael Atherton should be pleased that England have done as well as they have, and West Indies that they fought back so well. And after play, I talked with the England captain, Michael Atherton. Michael, well played. That was a good performance.
Yeah, I was pleased to get 100 and I haven't had one for a while, but I was disappointed to be run out because I was looking to get a big score, really.
You were run out at Old Trafford as well, but you don't actually make a habit of it.
I try not to. Geoffrey Boycott keeps giving me plenty of ribbing. He says I'm catching him up on the number of run-outs, but it's only the 3rd time in my Test career, I think.
You've got a long way to go. What about the pitch out there?
Oh, it's a good pitch, very flat, good pitch for batting, and, you know, we hope we can make full use of it tomorrow.
Nick Knight?
I thought he did really well. It's only his 2nd Test match, and he found it hard work at the start, but he stuck in. That was the great thing. He showed plenty of character, and the runs flowed a bit more freely after lunch, and I was pleased that he got 50.
Everyone's interested in the new players who come in. He looked pretty good up at Old Trafford under extreme pressure. Not quite so much pressure here today.
I think he hasn't looked fazed by the occasion. You stand at the other end and you watch a young player play his first game, and you can tell whether somebody's overawed by the occasion. I don't think he has been. He's caught his catches and he's got stuck in with the bat.
Graham Thorpe?
He's disappointed he got out at the end there because he's a big player for us. I said before the game, really, myself, Thorpe and Hickey are the 3 with experience and caps under our belt, and we're the ones who've got to show the rest of the way.
It's a long time since you've had a West Indian attack against you with the 3 pace bowlers and a leg spinner.
Yeah, when he came on in the first hour almost, I couldn't remember the last time I'd faced any spin from the West Indies. I think it was in the back end of the tour 2 years ago, but it was a nice change.
What did you think of it?
Obviously it's difficult for him today because the pitch was very flat. There was no real pace or bounce for him. But I didn't think he did a bad job for Richie Richardson. Obviously he had to keep his pace bowlers fresh, and I thought that Dan Raj did that for him.
What about the overall position?
We had a poor last session, lost 4 wickets, but I think we'll probably settle for that at the beginning of the day. Much depends on how we can crack on tomorrow.
It looked to me as though Ian Bishop was swinging the ball late in the day. Was that some form of reverse swing, do you think?
I'm not so sure. The ball didn't look scuffed. I don't think the wicket was conducive to scuffing the ball, so maybe they just got a good shine on it, a good polish on it.
Chance for Watkinson and Illingworth with the ball?
We hope so. Obviously we hope to bat the majority of the day tomorrow. Hopefully the pitch will take spin later on in the game, and our 2 spinners can get in the match.
Michael, thank you very much, and well played.
Thank you.
Michael Atherton justifiably happy at the way things went today after winning the toss. A very, very good toss to win, and England have finished up in a good position. And now, with his ideas on the overall picture of the day, here's Geoffrey Boycott.
Well, for 2 sessions it was all England. They took full advantage of a very placid, easy-paced pitch. No pace, no bounce. First time for 17 Test matches that the openers for England have given them a really good, solid start. I thought Michael Atherton in particular played really well. He looked comfortable against the spinners and the seam. In fact, I counted only twice did he play foolish shots. Nick Knight, well, he was slow and careful at the other end, and he was a good foil. England were in great position at tea, and then they lost it a bit. West Indies, through a lot of character, fought back, took wickets, and by the end of the day, England will feel, well, we're in control, but not as much as we'd like to have been. So tomorrow, with the new ball available, they've still got a bit of work to do, and West Indies could get back into the game.
Thanks very much, Geoffrey. Geoffrey Boycott with his ideas on what happened today and what might be coming up tomorrow. Well, I think it was a good day's cricket. It was slow, but an excellent stand between Knight and Atherton got England away. The century from the England captain, following on the win at Old Trafford. That will make everyone happy in the England supporters section. And the way the game finished up, we could be in for another very, very good game of cricket. We'll be on air tomorrow, and the details of that are BBC One, 10:55 a.m. That's the second day of this 5th Cornhill Insurance Test match. For a moment from Trent Bridge, it's goodbye. Michael Atherton's century put England in the driving seat yesterday. It was a fine innings and certainly a very timely one. There were problems for England late in the day, however, with John Crawley, Atherton and Graham Thorpe all dismissed, and it was the West Indies new boys who did the job. Stuart Williams took a brilliant slip catch, Raji Danraj fought quickly to run out Atherton, and then Courtney Brown took the catch to dismiss Thorpe. Welcome to highlights of the second day of this 5th Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. 6¼ hours of very good and tough and competitive cricket yesterday, and more to come today. This is the way it all started out for England. 227 for 4. Knight made 57, Atherton 113, Crawley 14 and Thorpe 19, and Illingworth is listed there as not out 8, with Hick not out 6, 10 extras, 227 for 4. But unfortunately, England effectively at 227 for 5 because Illingworth broke his finger in defending against this ball from Courtney Walsh yesterday after he'd been sent in as night watchman. Now the man who did the damage there for Richard Illingworth, Courtney Walsh, didn't take a wicket but bowled 26 overs and 4 maidens for his 61 runs. The wicket takers were Ian Bishop, 1 for 41, and Kenny Benjamin, 18 overs, 7 maidens and 2 for 36. Dan Rash didn't get anywhere with the field placings he had set for him. 24 overs, 2 maidens, none for 77, but I promise you he spun the ball very, very sharply, which might be an indication for the England spinners later in the game. And Keith Atherton, 4 overs, no maiden, and no wicket for 8. So yesterday, some turn there, not much pace for the quick bowlers, and here's today's pitch report from Geoffrey Boycott.
Well, I've got with me Ron Alsop, the Notts groundsman. How long have you been groundsman here, Ron?
Well, for 40-odd years, Geoffrey.
40-odd years, and you've still not learned how to make a good test pitch.
Well, we'll judge this later, shall we?
Is this one of the best you've actually made?
No, it isn't, Geoffrey, no. It's a superb batting wicket, isn't it? But it's not one of the best I've made. One of the best I would made would be, I'd want bounce and a bit more pace.
So this pitch here is really not going to change much throughout the game. It's just got a nice covering, it's no pace and bounce, and you'd say this will stay the same all through the match?
I would probably think that it would even get slower.
Would you?
I would think it would even get slower with this hot sunshine.
Ball a bit lower as well?
Ball is a bit lower. I would hope at some stage that it would turn.
If they can spin it?
If they can turn the ball these days.
Thanks, Ron. Have a good retirement.
OK, thanks very much, Jeffrey.
Bit of arthritis in Ron's left shoulder there, but he'll be all right in retirement. It was Craig White who came out with Graham Hick, with Richard Illingworth still in the pavilion with that finger injury. And it's Hick who takes strike now. It's the last ball of the second over of the day. One run has been added to the overnight score. The bowler is Courtney Walsh. Archie Van Rose is the man down at deep third man. He's got quite a good throwing arm over long distance as well as short. We saw the short distance yesterday when he ran out Michael Atherton with a very smart piece of work.
I think Ian Bishop starting well this morning, just making sure that the batsman plays at everything that he bowls. Bowling wide and short on this pitch will not help. It's necessary to bowl wicket to wicket, make sure that the batsmen play at all times.
Well stopped. Been one or two revelations in this West Indian side in recent times. Stuart Williams, who's come into the side, is a very, very good slip fielder, and Sherwin Campbell, who's saved that boundary, has distinguished himself on a number of occasions.
Oh!
A ball called, and once again, very, very well saved by Sherwin Campbell. And he's gone. Caught behind and very well bowled by Ian Bishop. That is the crucial wicket for the West Indies. They've got through this pair, Hick and White. White having to come out in place of Richard Illingworth, who's injured, and now it's 239 for 5, but really it's 239 for 6.
Well, Ian Bishop has been threatening to do this. He's been bowling very straight this morning. Just wide of the off stump and bringing Craig White onto the front foot, pulling him wider than he probably wanted to play, and straight into Courtney Brown's glove. Excellent bowling, I think, by Ian Bishop this morning.
.239 for 5. Illingworth injured, and that first replay we showed you, we'll look at it again. Just watch the swing. It's late swing there. And just keeps going. It's beautifully bowled.
That's nicely timed by Jack Russell. Pretty handy way to get off the mark. Perfect delivery. Nearly perfect, we say. Had it been perfect, it might have taken the wicket. Ian Bishop has got himself into good form this morning. He's just getting this ball to move away from the right-handers. We'll watch it. Well, there are all sorts of ways of getting out in cricket. All you need to make sure is you don't get out to the silly ones. Courtney Walsh did well to get this high and just that little bit quicker too. The one thing that Graham Hick was in danger of doing there, having firstly been beaten for pace and bounce, the main danger after that is felt the blow and doesn't know where the ball's gone, but he then tries to brush it away with his hand, which of course would have counted as handled the ball. Remember Graham Gooch at Old Trafford a couple of seasons ago against Australia was given out in exactly the same fashion. Applause for the 250. England now 251 for 5. That's becoming a habitual sight for Richard Illingworth. Padding around broken digits. His hands have taken a bit of a pummeling this year.
Sounded good. And was good.
Yes, it's very noticeable when Graham Hick is batting that the West Indies quick bowlers want to test him out with a short ball, get a bouncer in there. They feel he's pretty vulnerable. But on this particular pitch, with no great pace and bounce, I think it's more in favour of the batsman, and it's playing into Graham Hick's hands.
An appeal there. It looked as if Graham Hick missed what was a full toss. Jeffrey.
Well, I was just waiting to see if he got a little inside edge, but no, the umpire signalled leg byes. This is a full toss. Well, it just might have been leg side of leg stump. A very close decision. If that hits him in line, full toss, then it should be out, but it's very close.
Fine shot. It almost got faster and faster. I think Ian Bishop set off in hope, but suddenly struck a moment of complete disillusionment as the ball raced away through extra cover.
There's a good shot. Lovely attacking gesture from the England wicket-keeper and all-rounder. I think it was all that short.
I think Jack Russell actually made a step forward here and then went back and dismissed it. That's the only way you describe that, dismissive.
A nice shot. So there's 2 balls in this over, a bit too short. But Zainraj needs to keep the ball up to the bat, so too does Benjamin. But not a full toss. It's a very, very useful partnership between Graham Hick, who's 39, and Jack Russell, who's 23. Pressure on the fielder. And Russell got back for 2. That's excellent running. That's 2 in as many overs that Dan Raj has bowled as full tosses to Graham Hick, and Hick has dealt very, very severely with them. 300 up for England now. Be satisfactory from their point of view to get over the 300. Another full toss. He's fetching them from outside off stump, but a full toss can never be disguised as anything but a full toss. 51 for Graham Hick now.
Very well played. Nicely improvised by Graham Hick. A lot of the gaps in the outfield have been plugged by fielders in the deep. Graham Hick just found one that hasn't been. No ball and 4 runs too. Perfectly struck. We've seen many a hat perched on top of spectators' heads, and very sensibly too. Just in case anyone's forgotten to bring one, there's either Geoffrey Boycott collection or the end of season sale there in the caravan. Well bowled.
Yes, I was just thinking that the game's drifting along since quite a way before lunch, and I think that the West Indies have got to try something, some sort of variation. The game's just drifting along. They don't look as if they're going to get a wicket now.
Oh, beautifully bowled and nicely taken. Jack Russell is gone. The same sort of delivery that he nibbled at in the previous over from Ian Bishop. This time he's got the edge, and Courtney Brown had to move low and quick to his left, but completed the catch. And so this partnership between Graham Hick and Jack Russell now over, with Jack Russell out, Court Brown bowled Bishop for 35.
Well, he's been trying to run the ball across Jack Russell. Jack Russell made one lovely forcing back foot shot, left one or two, occasionally played and missed, and eventually he's nicked one.
And so England 323 now for 6. And Mike Watkinson will be the new batsman. Courtney Walsh back on the field. Richard Richardson's gone off the field. So Otis Gibson is still there, and Courtney Walsh will be the man holding the reins for the moment.
Well, that's a full toss. That was easy. Just made a little stride down the pitch. That's not the sort of delivery you want when you're trying to put the new batsman under pressure. Up it went, too far. Nice little feet movement, little chassé, and that's too easy to hit.
That's a good shot. Almost as though he was waiting for it. Pierce square cut. Been very severe on anything short outside the off stump.
Short and wide in the second afternoon of a test match on this pitch is not where you should be bowling.
That's 5 full tosses Dan Rose has bowled today. He's bowled them all to Graham Hick, and Hick has collected 20 runs from them. That'll take some catching on this fast outfield. That's a good shot. Very fine sweep. Didn't attempt to hit the ball hard, quite deliberately just kept it low key, but played down on it, rolled his wrists. Very nice.
Something of an ambitious drive there by Watkinson, just outside off stump, perhaps trying to emulate Graham Hick.
Now then, those 3 chaps who are sitting there, we were talking about, the one in the middle in the black and white striped cap is Blue Food, who plays the conch shell Maybe a lot of people who play the conch shell in the world, but none play it any better than Blue Food. He's from Trinidad, and he's at all the big cricket matches there, and they haven't had much to celebrate so far. There have been one or two conch shell blowings, but they really get stuck in when the wickets start to fall, and there's been very little of that so far. But he is quite a character. Good shot again. Graham Hick has played some excellent strokes in recent overs, starting with that pull shot he played off Ian Bishop.
And then again he's working across the line, and that was dangerous.
Well, might just have missed, I think. But worth a shout, certainly. Pitch just outside off stump, perhaps.
Well, that's better. Beautiful shot. 4 runs all the way, and it's just the right moment to go down and have a chat and say, come on, keep playing straight and just play the shots you always play, including that one. Well, he was lucky that time. Looking to play an attacking stroke on the offside. Gets an inside edge down to fine leg and 4 runs.
A little bit of luck here for Watkinson. Bat well away from the body.
Thick edge down to third man. One more to Watkinson. Brings up the 50 partnership between Watkinson and Hick.
And Courtney Walsh has decided that, well, it's very difficult to get anybody out in this type of pitch, and he's decided that he's not going to allow too many runs, too many boundaries.
A lovely stroke. And it's gone all the way. And the difference there for Mike Watkinson was that he aimed the ball much, much straighter, just wide of mid-on, so much better than trying to turn everything to square leg. That's out, and Mike Watkinson pays the penalty for playing across the line, not for the first time. Right from the start, he seemed so keen to work the ball on the onside, and I just thought he'd straighten it out with that on drive in the last over. But out he goes, LBW ball Benjamin for 24, and the 7th wicket is down for 380.
Yes, you're right, Tony. He does like to work the ball, but he never gets a big stride forward. That's the problem, and that's what the umpire will take into consideration, that he's working across it. Nice little innings he played, but if you watch the front foot here, I mentioned about an hour ago, he plays with a very left foot, stiff leg. See how stiff that left leg is? It's never got beyond the batting crease even.
Incoming batsman, Dominic Cork.
Beautifully hit. The field is in for Dominic Cork. No one's ever going to catch that one.
Like young Darren Gough, he doesn't poke around for too long when he's at the crease. Don't hang around too long, get the scoreboard ticking over. Especially if the batsmen have done their job and got the bowlers a bit tired, like has happened here. We're now into the 5th session. Those West Indies, oh dear, that's a bit silly. I was going to say, those West Indies fielders are a bit tired. And that was just about summed it up. They're just getting a bit down, flat, concentration's going a little bit.
Could be a close relative of mine, that. Definitely the way to travel. Last time I saw one of those, it was 150 feet above the football ground at Carrara, just off the Gold Coast in Australia. 4¼ hours he's been batting now. That's a great shot. That's going to race to the boundary for Graham Hick's first 100 against the West Indies. Much deserved applause from his captain, his teammates, and the packed house here at Trent Bridge. 100 not out exactly, 15 fours, and coming off 183 balls. It's his third Test match 100. The other two against India and South Africa. And he'll add 2 more to it now. And Graham Hick in his 36th Test match. For him, that's a poor ratio. He's the man that's made many, many hundreds in first-class cricket.
Problems there. Looked as though it might have been an ankle. Just the turn and twist in the bowler's footmarks. Didn't like the look of that too much. Ian Bishop is the bowler.
Oh yes, you could see that immediately there, that Ian Bishop had problems as he put the foot down. He turned and was, I think, just good enough to deliver this, but surely his foot was twisted there. He had some problems yesterday with boots. He's changed them a couple of times. Nasty.
At last he's decided that the common sense thing to do is to go from the field. Not too sure he even gave Courtney Walsh a wave, but he might do now. In the air, but it's safe. Shot. Court goes to 30.
Caught him, beautifully caught. Super catch. And another great reward for Kenny Benjamin. Dominic Cork goes to 31, a most useful 31. Real thorn in the flesh of the West Indians. But Courtney Brown has really impressed himself upon this match. 440 now for 8.
Kenny Benjamin getting good reward here, just spearing the ball into the right-hander, not really moving it away as he normally does. Courtney Brown taking a really nice catch, moving swiftly to where first slip would have been.
Orthodox outside edge, but very well taken by Courtney Brown. And a 4th wicket for Kenny Benjamin. So England down to the last batsman now, Gus Fraser. Over it goes. Well, that's terrific bowling by Kenny Benjamin. That little bit quicker, a bit of zip there. Gus Fraser goes first ball. .440 for 9, and the West Indies are looking now to see if Richard Illingworth will come out to bat, the man who retired hurt. The sign which comes says no, and so that completes the England innings with Graham Hick not out. A big great applause for Graham Hick, 118 not out. Ray Illingworth says produce it, and produce it he did.
Yes, that was a very good performance from Graham Hick, 118 not out. He was severe on all the bowlers, played one or two magnificent pull and hook shots off the quicker bowlers, and he gave Raji Danraj a little bit of stick at different times. Good effort from the bottom of the order there. It's very important for England to have bowlers who can bat down the bottom there, and also Jack Russell, who made 35. Watkinson got 24 and Cork 31. It's a bit of a replay of Old Trafford. 20 extras, 440 all out there, and the bowling figures for West Indies. Walsh none for 93, Bishop 3 for 62, Benjamin 5 for 105, a good wholehearted effort. Thought he bowled very intelligently, Kenny Benjamin. Danraj none for 137 from 40, and the left-hand spinner Arthurton, 9 overs, no maiden, no wicket for 31. We join play now with the West Indies batting, England having made their 440. It's the second ball of the third over. Angus Fraser is the bowler, Stuart Williams taking strike, and there are 2 runs on the board.
Well, that was a long half volley. Big gap at mid-off, and simply put back to ball.
Very good, thoughtful positioning by Angus Fraser it was, who called out to Michael Atherton. Michael Atherton fully understood what the bowler was thinking, and captain and bowler on the same wavelength, and I think that's right to Stuart Williams. I said all along he has a short stride, he doesn't get forward far enough, and he does play the ball in the air.
And along the ground. Terrific shot. But again, what appears to be a half volley, in fact, is played on the up, and this is the point Angus Fraser was making. Both shots played on the up, and the man in there on the catch, 15 yards or so away, is really in business, but not this time.
That's a good firm shot. Stuart Williams, the batsman. And he's been very happy. Anything today that's been pitched up, he's really launched into. Nothing extravagant, just a good follow through, good firm hit. Gets himself into a nice position.
I didn't think he'd get that if the ball turned.
But what a shout, since he's pushing out just perhaps in front of off stump, but pitched outside off stump, and he did play a shot.
Now there's something that'll bring a bit of a smile to the face of Atherton and Watkinson and Illingworth. Because there's a bit of a problem there with Stuart Williams. Didn't seem to me that there was anything happened to Williams with this last ball. It jumped at him, hit him. It hit him on the waistband. A lovely question on question of sport, I suppose, and what happened next. Just short of the man at Silly Point. Certainly 2 noises there.
Given a little bit more air here by Watkinson, and definitely hitting the inside edge. Just dropping in front of the man there at the point.
Now, there were desperate shouts. There's some spin. And that's the one we were talking about when he got that slight round arm delivery. Be a little disquieting for the dressing room.
A lot of turn and bunks there. Sherwin Campbell must have been a little bit surprised.
No more runs added. Stuart Williams remained 16 not out, even though he looked as though he was ill out on the field there. And Sherwin Campbell 8, 1 extra, no wicket for 25. So a good start for the West Indies. They got through without losing wicket, and the bowlers used for England, just 3 of them. Fraser, 6 overs, 4 maidens, no wicket for 9. Cork, 8 overs for 16. And Watkinson, 5 overs, 5 maidens, 0 for 0. And I can tell you that ball is turning out there. It will be of great interest to Michael Atherton, and it'll have caught the eyes of the West Indian batsmen as well. So at the close of play on the second day of this Cornhill Test, the West Indies 415 runs behind. And after play ended for the second day, David Gower talked with the man who made the century of this match, Graham Hick.
Graham, well played. Are you getting sick at having to make all these comebacks?
Well, I suppose it's my own sort of bad undoing that I'm sort of keep coming back. So if I got these runs all earlier on, then I suppose I wouldn't have to keep coming back. But I'm quite happy now. Yeah.
But how much do you feel the pressure then? Because the last 2 or 3 years you've actually played some very good Test cricket, and yet 2 or 3 times it's come to the crunch, and the selectors have said, "Okay, take a break and see what you can do later."
A little bit. As I say, I think if I'd got the runs, then I wouldn't put myself in that position. But once or twice, I feel I was half expecting it, and other couple of times maybe I felt I was a little bit harsh. But it's the way it goes. So you can't do much about it, apart from just keep trying to come back.
Now, how would you assess this Trent Bridge pitch? We've actually quite enjoyed watching you bat on it. It's not the worst pitch to bat on, is it?
No, it's obviously one you wouldn't mind carrying around. But I think it looks like it's going to maybe turn a bit more. It's a few turned quite nicely this evening, so obviously we'll hope for a bit more of that over the next few days.
And how satisfying was the innings for you? You've still got to get the runs, haven't you? However good the pitch is.
Yeah, true. I mean, this morning I went out and I just said I wanted to bat. So I set up myself to try and bat 4 hours. I felt if I batted 4 hours at the crease, then I'd be getting near to what I wanted. And as it turned out, it was about right. So, yeah, I was quite pleased with the way I'd played. I felt I hadn't done sort of too much wrong through the innings, so I'm quite happy.
Just tell us one more thing. This little chat you're reputed to have had with Ray Illingworth a couple of days before the game, was there much said in that?
No, it obviously was just after the situation at Old Trafford when, unfortunately, because I packed my bags and left early in the morning to go and play at Worcester, we hadn't had much time for a chat, so that's all it was. It was not a great deal, but I just felt that just wanted to have a chat with him, and I think he did with me as well. So it wasn't anything sort of over the top. We just had a quiet word.
But do you feel as though you've cleared the air and you're now set for a long stay back in the side again?
Oh, I hope so. I've got to keep getting some runs. So, but yeah, it'd be nice to have a long run. Yeah.
Well played. It was wonderful to watch.
Thank you.
A very happy man there, Graham Hick, who joined Michael Atherton as one of the 2 century makers in this England side here in this most important game. Geoffrey Boycott now, and he has his ideas on everything that happened today and on what might happen tomorrow.
A very good day for England. They don't often make 400 runs plus, but an even better day for Graham Hick. Before the start of this Test match, he wanted a few words with Raymond Illingworth. Fine, he was disappointed, upset, probably a little angry at getting left out of the Old Trafford Test. Having got that off his chest, he did the next best thing possible. He made a century and made it well. I can only remember a couple of false shots. The rest of the time, he was in complete control, admittedly on a very good batting strip, but you can never do better than make the runs. Put the runs in the bank and let that do your talking. Having said that, I thought it was difficult for the West Indies on this pitch. Kenny Benjamin fully deserved his 5 wickets, pitching the ball up and moving it a little bit off the seam. The leg spinner Dan Raj got his opportunity to bowl, and I was very disappointed. He bowled it too slowly on this very slow surface. Tomorrow, well, England's spinners will have to do the trick for them. The finger spinners, I think, will have to bowl the ball a little bit quicker than Dan Raj. I think they should. Mike Watkinson and Richard Illingworth, a lot of overs, a few tricks up their sleeve, and put a little bit of pressure on the West Indies. That's the only real hope that England have got.
Yes, plenty of good, hard, competitive cricket played so far in the 2 days of this Test match. And tomorrow we'll be with you at 10:45 a.m. the third day of the 5th Cornhill Insurance Test match. Coverage will be in grandstand for the moment from... When Graham Hick batted in the second innings at Edgbaston, he was part of an England collapse and defeat in 2 1/3 days. When he batted at Trent Bridge yesterday, he made 118 out of 219, and England with 440 in their first innings had a glimpse of victory. Yesterday evening, Mike Watkinson, the off spinner, turned the ball sharply in his 5 overs, all of them maidens. But this, believe me, is a very, very good batting track. There are plenty of runs there for the West Indies. Welcome to the highlights of the third day's play in this Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. We've had 2 great days so far. Looking forward to another one now. This is the way it began at the start of the third day. 25 for no wicket, the West Indies, with Williams 16 and Campbell 8. There's 1 extra there and 25 on the board. So they were quite happy when they went back to the dressing room yesterday evening. And the bowling figures for England, 3 bowlers used, Fraser, Cork and Watkinson. And the state of the game, the West Indies 415 runs behind. They need in all 241 to save the follow-on. Here now with his pitch report is Geoffrey Boycott.
Third morning on this very dry pitch. Well, nothing's changed on a length here for the seam bowlers. It's still flat. The cracks haven't opened at all, so the seamers are going to have to work very hard. The cracks are very fine, look. Nothing much there for the seamers to work on. They're just going to have to pressurise the batsmen, and that's why I think the England spinners are going to have to do a bit of work. We look here on a length for the England finger spinners. A lot of stud marks here. 1 or 2 bowlers bowling around the wicket. You can see here the little marks that have been made. And I think the finger spinners who bowl it a bit quicker than the West Indian leg spinner, they might get a bit of turn and cause a few tricks and problems for the West Indies batsmen. Look here, just there, there's just soil, 1 or 2 little holes coming. This one's a bit too full. And I think also they'll use these footholes at this side. Remember, 3 of the top 6 West Indian batsmen are left-handers, and they'll be able to use these, Will Watkinson and Richard Illingworth, to cause a few problems for the left-handers. So all in all, still a flat good pitch for batting, but I think England's finger spinners, they've got to do the tricks for England.
Indeed they have, and the critical thing on a pitch like this, where there is some spin and plenty of bounce, is that the 2 spinners, Watkinson and Illingworth, must keep the ball up to the bat. They must be dragging the West Indians forward all the time. Bowl short and they'll be caned. We join play now with the 3rd ball of the 2nd over. Watkinson already has bowled a maiden, his 6th on the trot, and Williams has taken a boundary from Richard Illingworth. Here he is now and facing the same bowler. Well, he's got away with it. The shout there was catch it, and it didn't go very far away from the man at mid-off.
Well, a very risky shot this. He hit it well enough, but didn't go that high. It went very catchable height, just above head high. Well, Jack Russell just got a knock from a poor ball to pick up, but lovely spin by Richard Illingworth.
Well, I think Michael Atherton will have to start thinking about a short extra cover and a short mid-on. Push his mid-on, mid-off back a bit to cover those, but it's the drive that's going to pose the problems for the batsman. I think it's so much the 2 men in close, one on the leg side, short leg, and the other one silly point. No way Williams is going to stop playing the drive. It's his main stroke. All to do is to capitalise on that. A single for it for a leg by. Batsman wasn't kicking it away, he was merely trying to evade the ball.
Great delivery was that. Not expecting a bouncer first ball. from Cork. Normally, as a batsman, you expect the bowler to loosen up first.
They went on the fumble. Illingworth might have had the batsman, the non-striker's end, struggling if he'd gone for that. I think the batsman at Russell's end was okay, but the other one was only just starting off.
He's flicked that away with absolute contempt. Dominic Cork can't afford to stray down there. Uppish, but it's found the gap, and no shortage of shots here this morning. He's got rhythm. I don't know about line and length. He's certainly got rhythm. It's a beautifully played shot. And that takes Stuart Williams to 50. Stuart Williams' first 50 in Test match cricket. It's been a very positive innings too. Whereas Stuart Williams has been very fluent. Showing Campbell, who's batted so well through the series, just hasn't found his timing at all. Oh, a bowled. Well, beautifully bowled by Richard Illingworth. And Campbell showing signs of that frustration, overbalanced. Came down the pitch and Jack Russell just couldn't gather it. That's the perfect delivery. I'm afraid it's beaten batsman and wicketkeeper.
Well, that Jack Russell taking this cleanly, Campbell would have been run out, not stumped. A really bad miss here by Jack Russell. Very uncharacteristic of him. Bad miss.
Well, that appears to just drift away. That's the swinger drifting away. See, almost an out-swinger. And that did hit something, hit a bit of rough. Popped back at Jack Russell. And he did well to get behind and stop it. And that's another good shout. You see the batsman not attempting to play a shot with the bat.
I think the umpire must have thought that that might have even been pitched just outside, perhaps even leg stump. It went straight on, but might have been pitched outside leg. But again, very close.
That's a fine shot. Just dropped short then by Richard Illingworth, looking for a little variation in the air perhaps, and nice meaty sound in that bat.
Well, there's just no margin at all. So hard to make yourself pitch it up all the time. You get a few balls up there, bringing the batsman forward, but very difficult to get them forward 6 balls out of 6.
In the air, caught, well bowled, beautifully bowled, and a good catch. It really was the art of slow bowling. Stuart Williams picked up some confidence from that shot of the back foot, was drawn down the pitch and caught by Atherton at mid-off off Illingworth for 62. It's 77 for 1.
Well, it was a nice innings, but if you remember, this was his first shot of the morning, and it actually went about similar height, a little wide of Michael Atherton at mid-off. This time it went straight to the skipper.
And there'll be a big applause for Brian Lara as he makes his way to the middle. (77 for 1), and that's the sort of tempo of wicket-taking that England must expect until they get lower down the order.
That's a good stroke. Once again, a bit too short.
Yes, he's such a clever player, Brian Lara. He threatens to come forward here, look, the front foot, but then he's so quick to rock back.
And you've got a chance with him if you're pitching it into the footholds outside off stump. You don't have much chance if it's short. 8 from 2 balls.
And Sherwin Campbell's got to be careful here. He's got to bounce the first ball from Cork. Shot. That will race away. Campbell's first boundary this morning and brings up the 100 for West Indies. 101 for 1.
Not much doubt about that. As it was halfway down the pitch, it had 4 written all over it. A wide half volley.
Yes, he was, but Indy played so well. I think he just sees the ball so quickly.
That's very delicate and 4.
Brian Lara immediately into the back foot. This pitch has not really got a lot of pace, and he recognizes immediately that he could play that on the back foot, even though it was not so short. Just guiding it through the backward. Maybe where his third slip would have been for 4.
And repeating the dose. Just adapting the shots to the needs of the delivery. Allowed in at any age here at Trent Bridge. Just stand and deliver. Already there's a case for Michael Atherton deciding that he's going to need an in-out field, the sort that keeps the odd close catcher there, but also prevents the boundaries flowing as they are at the moment for Brian Lara. Not only has he that happy knack of keeping the strike, he has that happy knack of finding the gaps. Well, he's going to get 4 more for it. It bounced a foot in front of Gully.
Well, Angus Fraser continuing to bowl wide, just with 1 slip and 1 gully. Well, 1 slip and 2 gullies. 1 gully pretty fine and 1 very wide, inducing Lara to play into that area, but he's been so much in control. It'll be very difficult to get him out in this circumstances. I think you need to be bowling straighter.
Well, that's just guided away. It takes Brian Lara to 50 in what seems nothing more than the blink of an eyelid. And wherever Michael Atherton has put fielders, Brian Lara has completely ignored them. He's found the gaps. That's his 10th boundary in 51 runs.
Well, Craig White is an all-rounder, very lively medium pace, and I think these conditions would be ideal for him.
A splash through gully. The close fielders are very close. Too close for something like that, which has been hard played. A catchable height, but travelling fast.
Frustrating for the bowlers, but they just need to come to terms with it. The timing is so wonderful. That's why I reckon you need the two slips in and toss a bit of gully. That most times he hits that beautifully, but every so often there's a false stroke. Just gives you a little opportunity.
Well, that might have hurt Jack Russell. Illingworth is bowling to pitch at the rough outside the leg stump. So he goes straight to that rough outside the leg stump and does turn a long way. Appear to go over the stumps. Oh, we're having a change of bowling. Mike Watkinson is the man who's been brought into the attack. Oh, that's a very fine shot. And what a fast outfield it is. Not just playing the shot, but having the wonderful timing and the good sense to play it late and fine. One run. And that is the 100 partnership. First wicket fell at 77.
Richard Illingworth, who was bowled basically non-stop with only lunch in between, is now being replaced by Craig White.
Oh, a glorious shot. Full stretch, full face. And a big shout there.
Watkinson bowling around the wicket. I think this was very close from the umpire's point of view. For the batsman correcting the fieldsman would have thought he's playing no shots, he's padding out. The bat is just behind the pad.
More shouting.
Again, another shout. This one clearly outside off stump, and hardly likely that that would have hit the off stump since it would have been turning away from the left-hander.
That's flashed away. And it's not a contest. There's Craig White giving Brian Lara too much room just outside off stump there. And Brian Lara the first on either side to 500 runs in the series. West Indies 203 for 1. And all Brian Lara's teammates assembling out on the balcony in anticipation of a wonderful 100. That's it. It's a wonderful 100 for Brian Lara. It has been a superb exhibition of high-quality batting. Big shouts, the ball gone out to silly points, and he's out. Nigel Clues eventually raising the finger. Sherwin Campbell's long vigil is over. Caught off bat and pad at silly point. And after 306 minutes, 225 balls, Sherwin Campbell out for 47.
Well, Watkinson doing here for his captain what he's required to do, an inside edge, come into the pad, a very confident appeal, and then umpire Nigel Clues taking a relatively long time to put his finger up, but once that's up, you're gone.
Well, that must have been a very, very faint nick. And with Sherwin Campbell gone, West Indies captain Richie Richardson, the next man due at the crease. Well, if you're talking about gifts, there's one. Richard Richardson seizing on that. It's a poor delivery from Mike Watkinson.
That's what Lara has done. That's when he's at the Radcliffe Road end. And again, there's a preponderance of scoring strokes behind point, around to, well, just in front of point. Just for the sheer beauty of it, not necessarily for the 4 runs. We'll have another look at that. Most glorious square drive, just in front of point. Oh! Well, not quite on the same level as Nick Knight, but not far off.
Well, this looks pretty close. Maybe just got outside, but it's a very fine line. I don't think you'll convince the Dominic Cork or the wicketkeeper or many of the England players who are in a reasonable line to see this. No problem about the height.
Angus Fraser. Oh, dear me. He's given that something. A lovely stroke. Beautiful the way he plays that. He picks it up. It's not a thing where he smashes it into the ground, but just picks it up there. Or more. Fraser's muttering a few things that you wouldn't want passing across your breakfast table. There's every right to. One ball that's hit for 6, and then the next one wide outside leg stump and just swung away down to fine leg. Nice crowd scenes there. There'll be plenty of people around delighted to be close to Curtly Ambrose.
He's caught him. Well, that just looked like a little late cut. It all looked under control for Richardson. Just sliced away off the open face, straight in the hands of first slip.
This was totally unnecessary. This is catching practice. There's absolutely no future in that shot. It was not hit hard enough, it was not hit wide enough. Even if it had passed the slip, it probably would not have gone for 4. Absolutely no future in this shot.
Well, a bonus for England. They stuck to it. I think Illingworth has bowled very well indeed today. Plenty of variation. Not afraid to flight the ball. Oh, what a risky run. Well, Atherton hit the ball so hard at Atherton at mid-off. Really was in the danger zone. Atherton picked it up well, threw well, had it hit.
This would have been close. Probably would have been in. I don't think, again, worth the risk.
Oh, beautiful shot. Finds the gap. Michael Atherton's in there at a short extra cover, hoping for a chance to catch Lara, but that's all along the ground, perfectly placed. Well, the bail is off. The bail is off. It was Cork who picked up a bail and put it back on at Old Trafford. Brian Lara doing the same thing. Well, there seems to be a certain amount of jocularity out there, hilarity. I think the wind must have blown it off. Well, in the air, sketchy sort of stroke, but it'll bring Keith Austin 4 runs. It sliced through the gully area. Not under control. West Indies move on to 286 for 3. Atherton's 5.
Shouts from Jack Russell and from the man at square leg, asking for the stumping.
First thing here is that Brian Lara is playing very, very wide. The toe is still very much grounded.
Well, this is the time to get him. He's 124 and he's just played 3 rather loose-looking strokes. The concentration's gone. Now Atherton's going down there to give him the steely look from around about 9 inches. Tell him to get his nose down and be there at the close of play. Or to push a single and let Atherton get down there.
Yeah, Keith Atherton, I think, using his head then, allowing himself a single so that he could take the pressure off of Brian Lara.
That's 4 more. Once again, too short. It's been the crime of the spinners all day here at Trent Bridge. Too short, too short, too short. That's a lovely stroke from Lara. Watkinson's back on at the Radcliffe Road end. Beautiful stroke off his toes. Just wide of the man at slip for 4 more. Going ball short. Ball short to Lara, and he'll thrash you away between forward point and third man. No trouble at all.
Brian Lara seems to be playing in 4s these days. In recent times, it's either one ball that's beat him or seemed to have beat him, and the next one 4 runs. The West Indies now at 300 for 3. Brian Lara 133 out of those 300.
Full stop, full toss and 4. Lightning fast outfield. Lara has made the bulk of his runs with 4s. And he's now being severe on Watkinson. Lovely stroke, but you simply can't give Lara, anyone for that matter, the scope to play strokes off the back foot all the time.
Almost. That came back a long way from outside off stump. That's always the risk that left-handers dredge. One potentially might just bite from the rough areas provided by the bowler's footmarks. It's the line and length that you can't really play at. And yet the feeling when you've let it go and the ball's turned back just to hit the stumps is not a pleasant one.
Yes, and the thing is, if he'd have padded it away with his front pad, which most batsmen do, most left-handers, get the front padder over there, kick it away, he'd have probably been given not out, even though he didn't play a shot, because the umpire wouldn't have been sure how far it would have spun back.
Well, the new batsman is Rajendra Dhanraj, coming in as night watchman. West Indies 4 down. Atherton gone for 13. Total now on 319. That's going to find the gap yet again and take Brian Lara past the 150 mark. For a third time today, acknowledging the applause of the crowd and his West Indies colleagues. Well, they've gone up for the catch. Brian Lara's out. The ploy has worked. Disappointment for Brian Lara and for this capacity crowd at Trent Bridge. England trying their own up-to-the-date version of leg theory. It was just the thin little help round to Jack Russell that was enough. England had set the trap, as it were, with a leg side field, but I don't think even Dominic Cork expected it to come quite in that fashion.
Well, there was an element of luck in it to get him out this way, but give some credit to England, because at least they set 2 men back for their hook or pull.
Shivnarine Chanderpaul, superseded by the night watchman only a few minutes ago, but now with the wicket of Brian Lara, obliged himself to come out to the crease. He's got this one away. Chanderpaul now is also off the mark. Pretty simple case of pulling a short ball for 4.
And done with the least possible effort as well. 5 more added to take that along to 334 for 5. Brian Lara 152. Magnificent performance. Williams 62, Campbell 47. Richardson 40, Atherton 13, and the not-out batsman, the night watchman Dan Roche, who was originally coming in at number 11. He's unbeaten on 3, and Chanderpaul unbeaten on 8. 9 extras, 334 for 5. The bowling figures for England: a wicket for Cork, 1 for Watkinson, and 3 for Illingworth, who bowled pretty well. Just remember that he's got a broken index finger on his right hand, not his bowling hand, and he did a good job. But for much of the time, I thought those spinners were far too short today. You can't bowl as short as that and expect to get past batsmen out. And the state of the game after 3 days, 3 very good days. 440 for England, and West Indies 334 for 5. Lara 152. West Indies 106 runs behind, but the star of the day, certainly the young left-hander, and he talked with Tony Lewis after the completion of the 3rd day's play.
Brian, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a good day. You know, I wish I was still there at the end, but you know, got a glove onto the ball down the leg side, and I suppose these things happen.
Yeah. How did the pitch play? I mean, it did turn, we saw that, but it was quite slow, was it?
Yeah, it's a bit slow, but I think you know our guys batted pretty well, and I think well done to Stu and Campbell, who stuck out there. Wasn't timing the ball, but I thought it was a very good batting track, and England showed that, and you know it's nice to see our guys getting some runs, and hopefully we go in tomorrow and get some more.
Yeah. Take a look at yourself getting a century. We've got that for you just to take a look at.
And you know what I intended to do. Oh, I wanted to stay there for as long as possible. And I had a whole day tomorrow to bat.
Well, Brian, thanks very much for coming to talk to us. I know you just rushed out of the show. And I have to wish you the best of luck, but moderately we understand that.
No problem.
A wonderful young cricketer, Brian Lara, and we've had the pleasure of watching him make 100 at Old Trafford, and now another one here today, and they were equally good. Touch of class about everything he does, and beautiful timing, wonderful footwork. Now then, Geoffrey Boycott has his ideas on what went on today, what might have gone on, and what is going to happen tomorrow.
Well, there is a song from Dr. Zhivago, Lara's theme, and you could have played that all day today. It was Lara's day, a brilliant exhibition, some scintillating stroke play, and he thrilled everybody, perhaps but the England bowlers. All the West Indians, or most of them, made runs. It's such an easy pitch, but he just put it into context. A class act, and you can't follow that. Brian Lara was brilliant. For England, they didn't do anything wrong. The pitch is so good, it is difficult to tell them what they could have done better. I thought Michael Atherton had a reasonably good day. Perhaps a couple of points he could have told the 2 spinners to pitch it up a little bit more, even over pitch, and make the batsmen drive more rather than play off the back foot. And secondly, he bowled both spinners, Watkinson and Illingworth, from the same ends. He could have switched them round, just maybe causing a problem or two for the West Indian batsmen. Tomorrow, well, what have England got to look forward to? I think they've got to be positive, try and bowl the West Indians out quickly, make quick runs, and then think of giving West Indies an awkward session or two on the last day. Pigs might fly. Well, you've got to think positive in Test match cricket if you want to win Test matches.
Yes, certainly some good cricket today, and a lot of good stuff to come tomorrow. There's been no shortage of heroes in this 5th Cornhill Test match. So far, though, they've all been batsmen. Michael Atherton on the first day with an innings of character and skill. Graham Hick dominated things on Friday with his undefeated century. And yesterday, eclipsing all that had gone before, Brian Lara played a classic innings. Well, who will it be today? Another batsman, perhaps? Could be Shivnarine Chanderpaul. Might be a bowler, like Dominic Cork or Mike Watkinson. Well, welcome to the 4th day's play in this 5th Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. We've had 3 very, very good days so far, and an excellent 4th one coming up, we hope. First of all, the match situation. This is the way it looks at the start of play on the 4th day, with the West Indies 106 runs behind. They're 334 for 5 in reply to England's 440. Lara, that wonderful 152. Good innings also from Williams and Campbell. Now, the batting figures for the West Indies, just confirming that Dan Roche, the night watchman, is there on 3 and going out first this morning with Chanderpaul, who's on 8. There are 9 extras, 334 for 5. And it was hard work yesterday for the England bowlers, but they did come back towards the end. Fraser none for 58, Cork 1 for 90, Watkinson and Illingworth far too short, I thought, yesterday. 1 for 72 and 3 for 66 for them, respectively. Hick 4 overs for 11 and White 5 overs, no maiden and no wicket for 30. Well, the pitch will play a big part today, and here's Geoffrey Boycott with his report.
Fourth morning, and not a lot of change in this pitch as you'd expect. The amount of runs that have been scored by both teams. This is about a good length. The seamers have not got much out of it, but this is about a reasonably good length for a spinner. There's 1 or 2 bits going here, but the spinners have got to try and overpitch, and that's hard for them after years of practicing bowling a decent length. This is a very full half-volley length. And if they could make themselves pitch up here and make all the batsmen drive, you can see the holes have started to appear. But that's easier said than done, as I say. The spinners feel at this length it's going to get hit for 4, but I think that they really have to try and overpitch into the little bits of rough, because the pitch is still good and very good basically for batsmen.
Geoffrey Boycott with his pitch report there, and just a reminder that conditions are much cooler today. The temperature maximum will be something around about 23, 24 degrees compared with 30 and 31 on the first 3 days. We join play now with the third ball of the second over. Richard Illingworth is the bowler, and he's bowling to Shivnarine Chandapal, the left-hander.
That's a great shot. Very confident start to the morning. Used his feet well, placed the ball well, hit it straight down the ground. A lot of bottom hand in the shot, but no problems on this occasion. Well, the bail is off. That was a wonderful piece of fielding. Good reactions from Mike Watkinson. It was Chandapal who was looking for the run. He was comfortably back by the look of that. Well, he's just managed to get his bat down in time. But Mike Watkinson having to turn. Nicely bowled by Mike Watkinson, drifting on quickly with the arm. Well taken by Jack Russell.
Jack Russell with the bails very quickly off here. Sure, he must still be ruining that bad miss yesterday. Probably just getting himself organized.
Well, the appeal is there. Always worth asking the question. That ball can turn very sharply out of the rough outside the left-hander's off stump.
Well, this is certainly worth a shout. Hit outside off stump. Must have been just missing off stump.
Trouble at sea. The Trent's a dangerous place. Far safer watching Test cricket nowadays. That's well bowled. An awkward delivery for Rajendra Danraj, which, as far as Nigel Clues is concerned, hasn't come off anything to do with bat or glove.
Yes, with this one, once it was bowled, evasive action by Danraj, but I think that just hit the top of the arm guard, perhaps just clipping his shoulder. The bat was very, very low. Good decision here by the umpire.
Well, it's not as though Rajendra Danraj hasn't seen this sort of bowling before. You play your cricket in the Caribbean, you're inevitably going to see your fair share of short pitch bowling. So if you're looking for still life, this might be the morning. Jocelyn Galsworthy progressing nicely with her painting of Trent Bridge. A few more figures on there since I last saw it. That's in the air and brilliantly taken. Well, the tactics have worked for Dominic Cork. No idea why Danraj insisted on standing there. through pretty quickly to Mike Atherton, who was very close, sorry, to Nick Knight, who was very close at gully. And yet Rajendra Dhanraj was prepared to stand and wait for the decision. Cork had spotted a weakness, he played on it. And to Dominic Cork's credit, he got all those deliveries short pitched and quick enough as they were in the right spot. They were dead straight. Dhanraj was forced to fend away every one of them, and his enthusiasm waned as Dominic Cork's increased. It was a good catch. 3:38 for 6. Courtney Brown is at the crease.
Oh, it's in the air. What a wonderful attempt at a catch. Well, almost had eyes in the back of his head then. But, it was fully driven there, and at full stretch, Atherton goes up at cover. He was walking in, that was the problem. He was walking against the tide. Two runs for that. I was quite surprised to see a fielder so deep on the leg side for Courtney Brown. An important stage of the match, this. It may seem rather becalmed, but in fact it's important for England to get a breakthrough and hopefully get the last 4 wickets to bowl out West Indies and take a good lead. Batsman stayed in his crease. Dominic Cork appealed. The ball had just grazed his fingers and got onto the stumps. Then run out was possible. Well, yes, it does. And with great planning or with great luck, Courtney Brown was routed to the spot.
Always a shout of catch it, which is good advice, I guess. There's one other requirement, though.
Yes, the batsman has to hit it.
That's good running from Courtney Brown. He's very sharp between the wickets. So's Chanderpaul. 350 on the board for the West Indies. Just 90 behind now. It's not abide with me, I can assure you. That's a neat stroke from Courtney Brown. Proving to be a bit of a stumbling block for the England bowlers. Chanderpaul's made 17, Courtney Brown 13.
Been that sort of morning. That's scintillating stuff. Simple half volley, wide half volley from Angus Fraser. There's a lot of wrist in this shot from Courtney Brown.
14.5 overs for 63 runs without any success in the wickets column. Not the normal thing you see with Fraser. He's normally very economical.
Not today. Not yesterday either. Angus Fraser. Colin, you were talking about his figures there, and over the period of 15 overs, they're expensive, certainly by his standards. He bowled too many short and too many full yesterday. Didn't start bowling yesterday until after lunch. If you analyse those figures, his first 6 overs went for just 9 runs. So you take 6 off the first column, 9 off the third column, and you suddenly see that Angus Fraser has been taken to the cleaners by the West Indies batsman. That's up in the air, comfortably taken. Shivanarayan Chanderpaul has gone. Nothing complicated at all about that. That's a reward for perseverance from Mike Watkinson.
One of the very few times you will see Shivanarayan Chanderpaul in defence being beaten, because normally he uses his pads quite well. This just perhaps came onto him quicker than he expected. The last final thing, the catch, relatively easy to Crawley after all of it.
Ian Bishop is the new batsman. Number 9 on the card. 2 more to go after this partnership, Kenny Benjamin and Courtney Walsh. It's been a very slow morning here at Trent Bridge. West Indies started on 334 for 5. We've managed to add just 32 runs in an hour and 3/4. Oh, brilliantly caught. That is as good a slip catch as you will see. Graham Hick, instinctive reflexes enough there just to clutch it with his left hand. John Edridge enjoyed that one, as I'm sure did Mike Watkinson.
But this is a good catch, ball wide-ish, and Ian Bishop not fully to the pitch and driving. Watkinson some good success for some thoughtful bowling.
374 for 8. That'll be Kenny Benjamin to take strike. He's wearing a helmet, or is he? Looks like a helmet on the right there. Perhaps it's only a cap. It was a fierce blow.
No, it looks as if he's got just his cap on, and that's why there's a big problem. That's a fierce blow. I can't understand why he's not wearing a helmet, being so close. I know it's quite brave, but and in years gone by, people used to fielding close without helmets, but there weren't helmets around. Now that everybody's got a helmet for batting, you should always use one with the grill when fielding close in. I'm a great believer on that. You don't really want to see a player seriously hurt.
Very, very painful for the player concerned, Nick Knight. And it just casts a pall over proceedings with all the other players as well.
Yes, Kenny Benjamin won't be feeling too clever either. He was the batsman who struck the ball. I mean, he was striking it for 4, he hoped, not to hit the player.
Everyone will be keeping their fingers crossed that Nick Knight is okay. Paul Pollard is the man who's on for Nick Knight. Beautiful stroke for 4. The right idea to produce the drive, but Courtney Brown got it away a yard or so to the left hand of the fielder at extra cover. Brown can't be blamed for that. He was trying to go over the top because the field was in to save the single. But that's good work from Illingworth. He flighted it nicely, kept it up to the batsman, gave him the chance to come down and defeated him. Good spin bowling.
Yes, he teased him really, just tossed it up. Real big spin ball. A nice innings ended with that stumping. He's played quite nicely. We're pleased with that. Disappointed to get out. He had the opportunity of getting a half-century.
Courtney Walsh coming in at number 11. 384 for 9, and Courtney Brown just out for 34. Heartening news about Nick Knight. He was examined by the doctor in the ambulance. The doctor says that they will be taking him to hospital for a precautionary x-ray. That was meant to be it, but Courtney's too good for it. He's got it away for 4.
Well, I hope he lasts 10 or 15 minutes, Courtney Walsh, because it could be really interesting cricket.
Well, that's an 8.
Well, that's a great strike, really. He has to hit this absolutely dead in the centre of the bat to clear long off and long on, and the boundary. And he really has creamed it.
400 for 9.
No second slip. That's where the edge went. Kenny Benjamin certainly not holding back.
Well, I think this just sums up Angus Fraser's bowling. He's not had a particularly good match. He's not looked like taking wickets. He hasn't taken a wicket. Pretty difficult day yesterday. A lot of runs off his bowling. He's not bowled especially well this morning. And he's not getting any luck either.
Courtney Walsh coming back for the second. Courtney Walsh fancying Dominic Cork, it seems. Always had 2 in mind. Realised that Angus Fraser, A, had just had 1 chase, and B, had quite a lot of distance to make to get to the ball. That's a good take as well. This must be the contest. That's nicely bowled. It's not going to get the wicket. It was a good delivery.
The initial impression here is that it was probably straight enough, but not low enough. But Walsh is a very tall man. It hit the back pad, but it would have got over the top of the bail, I think.
Finally, Angus Fraser has something to show for his efforts. Courtney Walsh bowled neck and crop for 19.
Angus Fraser doing what his captain wants him to do, get rid of this last wicket pair. Courtney Walsh nowhere behind this. Pitch just about middle, cutting away to the top of the off stump. Good ball. Getting a wicket at the tail end there, but somewhat wasted on Courtney Walsh, I think.
Well, they're never wasted completely, are they? Because England have spent a long time in the field there. They'll be happy, for the most part, to get back inside that pavilion.
That was a splendid last wicket partnership there between Benjamin and Walsh. 33 they put on from just 41 balls, and it took the total along to 417. That's much better than the West Indies might have expected at one stage. They began the day at 334 for 5, at lunch 374 for 8, so they were in trouble, and every other run was a bonus. Nice performance there from Courtney Brown in only his second test match, and I thought Chanderpaul looked every inch a cricketer as well. The bowling figures for England: good performance from Illingworth, 4 for 96 in 51 overs. Watkinson, 3 for 84. Cork, 2 for 110. Fraser, 1 for 77. But the same criticism still applies with me for the spinners, that they were too short for much of the time. But this is always a learning curve, and I've no doubt that they'll have picked up a lot from this innings. So the state of the game: England lead by 23 runs as they go into bat, and it's an enforced change in the batting order. John Crawley has had to go in with Michael Atherton because of the injury to Nick Knight. We join now with the second ball of the first over. Courtney Walsh is the bowler, and Michael Atherton is taking straight.
Very pleasant shot. Pleasantly orthodox, pleasantly effective. Mike Atherton is off the mark, and so is England. They can't have fielders everywhere, and if you reduce it to one slip, I'm afraid you have to expect the flying edge to go for 4.
Still don't understand this attitude of just in the third over with just one slip and one gully. England has not got a great lead. I think at this stage you should at least have one extra slip.
Well, that's an appeal for that. Confident appeal from behind. Jeff Boycott's just joined me.
Well, the interesting thing about this is the amount of bounce. Look where it goes to the keeper. Really whistled through, cut him in half. Ian Bishop, after he'd stopped peeling, he actually looked at the pitch. He couldn't believe he got the ball to bounce off the seam and cut back. Never touched it.
Oh, that was a nasty ball, and it struck Mike Atherton a painful blow. Really winced then. Now, what was that, Geoffrey? Left hand?
Well, again, they are tall, these West Indies. Just a little bit of nippy on the finger end of the right hand, I think.
Right hand.
You get that, particularly as an opening batsman, more than the lower order players, because the ball is hard, it's new. It's just there it is. It's just done a nice little nudge. It's trapped it to the bat handle.
It looks, in fact, like the top hand, the left hand. That was the one he left on the bat. That's good news. Mike Atherton ready to resume.
Has done a great deal of damage without much effort from the batsman. John Crawley has shouldered arms in much the same way as Nick Knight did in the first innings. He's Knight's replacement in the second, but this time it was a little more definite. Bowled by Walsh for 11.
Well, that's not the first time John Crawley has padded up to Courtney Walsh. If you remember, he did the same at Old Trafford. He just lets it go, you see. It's the angle Walsh bowls from, slightly wide of the crease.
The man who made the century in the first innings comes out now. That's good breakthrough for West Indies. No easy task out there for the batsman. Atherton struck on the finger. Quite a nasty blow. Now Crawley removed without playing a stroke. plus a glare. Only a moderate glare from a man of Ian Bishop's equable temperament, but a glare nonetheless. That's a good shot. The chap who is getting all the applause there, fairly sturdily built, and the applause is because he keeps going and collecting 6 pints of beer and bringing them back, and although he seems to have a lot of friends around him, he drinks them all himself. Just wrong-footed, Raji Danraj there, as he was coming across to field that on his right hand. It was a good shot from Michael Atherton.
The trouble is on this pitch for the bowlers, you only have to be slightly offline or over-pitched or under-pitched, and it's pretty easy to take runs from the bowlers.
Good enough. Kenny Benjamin strikes. That one scuttles through low and quickly.
Well, suddenly this game has changed into something interesting. 36 for 2 could effectively be 36 for 4. There are 2 injured men in Knight and Illingworth.
Well, there was just a little bit of movement back in between bat and patch. Just enough to defeat the stroke. And Graham Hick looked to be late on the shot. Graham Thorpe, the new batsman. And there's a challenge ahead of him and Mike Atherton now. Just to update you on the news of Nick Knight, all is reported to be relatively well. He's got a headache, but there is no cause for alarm, and is expected back on the ground later today. Great delivery. Very similar to the ball that dismissed Graham Thorpe in the first innings. That's fueled by the commentary box.
That's a cracking shot. But 2 men down there. It wasn't a bad ball. It was bowled deliberately because there was a man back for the catch at deep square leg. Another one fine. Hair transplants are all the rage these days. Ah, so simple that. It was very nicely played indeed. And that gets through square of cover. A bit frustrating for Kenny Benjamin.
Sherwin Campbell made a big effort to stop that. In fact, to catch it. He's pretty good. Courtney Walsh is looking extremely inconvenienced there.
I think he's got a problem, and I think he'll go off. He went to field the ball at mid-off, and Richie immediately swapped him over to mid-on. This is what happened. It was just a steady little push by Michael Atherton. Walsh sort of got his feet probably a little bit stuck and awkwardly picked up the ball. There's nothing untoward there, but he obviously got his feet in the wrong position and just tweaked something.
Yeah, he's got a slip and a leg slip, or a slip and a leg gully it is. And 3 men on the offside. That's a perfectly orthodox field for a leg spinner for a left-hander. 2 on the on, saving a single. I wouldn't believe it, but he's given the first one a full toss. Two quicker bowlers for the West Indies have done very well today. Courtney Walsh bowled with pace and movement, and Ian Bishop is doing the same thing now. Each has managed to get some swing out there. The ball's 30 overs old. Seems still to be a little bit of shine on one side of it, which is just what the pace bowlers want. 100 lead now for England. He looks as though he's outside off stump.
This was probably an easy decision in the end for the umpire.
Great shot from Graham Thorpe. The bounce and the spin generally quite predictable. And once the ball is this short, there's more than enough time to get in position and execute the shot. Well, let's come back a little bit the other way. But still had plenty to do.
Again, word to shout.
Well, they're looking for 2. Should make them comfortably enough. And it's enough to bring up the 50 partnership between Michael Atherton and Graham Thorpe, the last wicket falling at 36. Swung away pretty well. And 4 runs. This has been a persistent fault of Dan Raj's. Again this afternoon, pitching too short. Graham Thorpe just able to help that round with the spin.
Yes, this is very bad bowling.
That was a bit quicker, but the result is going to be much the same. Dan Raj desperately trying to get this ball up onto a good full length, yet to succeed. Great shot. Down the gap, perfectly placed. Good fighting stuff from Graham Thorpe. A wee bit optimistic there from the small scoreboard. England just on 100, not on 500.
11 more runs added to take the final score up to 111 for 2, 8 extras in that total. It was a good partnership between Michael Atherton and Graham Thorpe. Things weren't looking dangerous, but you wouldn't want to lose another wicket or so there with Nick Knight injured and also Richard Illingworth with a broken index finger on his right hand. As it was, Atherton 38 and Thorpe 47 saw them through to the close and were batting with great confidence towards the end. Now the bowling figures for West Indies, they did very well once again. Walsh, I thought, bowled superbly in that first spell. 12 overs, 2 maidens and 1 for 27. Bishop also bowled outswingers and leg cutters for much of those 13 overs, 4 maidens, and he had 27 taken from him and had no luck at all. Benjamin 1 for 26, Dan Raish 4 overs for 22, and Atherton in the end brought on to keep things tight, 4 overs, no maiden, no wicket for 7. So the state of the game, 1 day to go, and England 134 runs ahead. So they were in trouble at one point. Now there's just a little glimmer for them. They can at least put pressure on the West Indians later on in the day. 134 runs to lead, and Geoffrey Boycott now for his ideas on the way things might go tomorrow.
Well, a disappointing day because nothing really happened. Neither side could take control of the game or gain the upper hand. Why was that? Well, I think that both sides are a little shy of winning. 2-all, neither of them wants to lose with only 2 test matches to go. And the batsmen, probably one of the few times in the series they've seen a very flat batting pitch. They're being extra safe and extra careful in what they do. That's not been very good for the spectators. On a pitch as good as this, flat, dry, no bounce or pace, 194 runs were scored, and I think that was poor reward. I'd like to tell you that there will be a result tomorrow, but I can't. It's definitely going to be a draw.
Geoffrey Boycott with his ideas on the way the game has gone after 4 days of this Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. We'll be on air tomorrow. It'll be BBC One at 10. Yesterday at Trent Bridge, Nick Knight sustained what could have been a very serious injury, but fortunately it turned out to be less than that. Kenny Benjamin was the batsman. He was wearing a cap at Silly Point rather than a protective helmet, and the ball caught him flush on the back of the head. Jack Russell was the man rushing to his assistance, as did all the other players. Well, Knight was taken off on a stretcher and then by ambulance to hospital. He was at the ground this morning, and Tony Lewis talked with him.
Well, Nick, welcome back to the ground. That's the first thing. I know viewers in the Caribbean who are watching and all the British viewers were very pleased to see you back and looking fit.
It's nice to be back. You know, it was a bit of a blow, but I always felt in control. Even when I got hit yesterday, I still knew where I was and what was happening, and never felt sort of out of control. And you know, once I had a bit of a rest, I felt okay, actually.
It looked very bad. What do you remember about the actual stroke?
Well, I can remember everything. He just sat back. I think Benjamin just sat back a bit and sliced it slightly, and you know, got it up into the head region, which is unusual for that position because you're so close to the bat that the chances of getting the trajectory up into the head area is very remote. So, you know, it was because he sat back and sliced it that he was able to get it up there. But, you know, as I say, I can remember everything and, you know, don't feel too bad.
So when you were being wheeled away on a stretcher, how did it feel then, if you remember so clearly?
Well, I'd rather have got up and walked away, actually. But, you know, I felt it best to do the right thing and be safe. And, you know, that was it. I didn't feel too bad.
What did they do in hospital?
We just did a few checks and checkups and check the skulls are right and check everything's in the right place and hopefully find a brain, I think was the first thing. But, yeah, you know, a few tests, a few regular tests, and then just a rest.
So the key question is now, will you bat for England today?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully.
Good.
Well, hopefully we won't lose a wicket, but if required, yes, I'll be batting.
A very lucky young man, I can tell you. That could have been extremely serious. Well, welcome to the highlights of the 5th and final day of this Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. We've had 4 good days, and the excitement, possible excitement of the final day, will depend in part on the pitch, where Geoffrey Boycott is about to give us his report. Geoffrey, any chance of a result?
In one word, no, I don't. This pitch has been far too slow, not enough bounce in it or pace for any of the bowlers. And quite frankly, it's been a disappointment. I think you ought to play a timeless test on this surface. You probably get a result in 8 days, and that's really not good enough for test match cricket. You might say, well, the spectators have been here for 4 good days, but quite honestly, the quality of cricket has been infrequent. Michael Atherton liked it, Graham Hick liked it, batting, they both got centuries, and Brian Lara loved it. But other than that, I don't think any bowler has truly enjoyed playing on here, bowling on it, and so it's not been a fair contest. A disappointment.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the West Indian bowlers and their skipper Richie Richardson thinks about that. Just a reminder of the way the game stands on the final morning of this test. 111 for 2 England. The men out: Crawley not playing a stroke for 11, and Hick playing 1 but being bowled for 7. Atherton unbeaten on 38. A very brave innings there. He was hit a couple of nasty blows on the hand yesterday. And Graham Thorpe once again has batted extremely well. The left-hander is 47. The bowling figures for the West Indies: they worked hard yesterday and I thought they bowled extremely well. Walsh will be a danger man this morning, so too Bishop and Benjamin. Walsh has 1 wicket and Benjamin also 1. And the state of the match as we go into the last day: England 440 and 111 for 2. West Indies 417 all out. England 134 runs ahead. Well, a lot will depend on those West Indian bowlers this morning. There is a scenario that's worth considering, that if they were to get through England's batsmen in this first session, and then a target of something like 220 should be set, to be excitement for both teams, not just for the West Indians, and either side could win. We're going to join it now in the first over. It's the 4th ball. Courtney Walsh is the bowler, and he's coming in to bowl to Graham Thorpe. No runs have been added. There's all sorts of shouts there, but not a murmur from the man who's going to make the ultimate decision. Didn't appear to be any actual deflection. It's just gone straight on there to the wicket keeper. We did see yesterday that Thorpe had thumped his pad with his bat for a similar type appeal, and I have a feeling we might see precisely the same thing there, with the inside edge of the bat hitting against the pad. Nilly is very well bowled. It got Thorpe into a terrific tangle there. No ball call, and it's gone for 4. Double injury. Even the most equable temperament can sometimes give way to frustration. Well, there's an air of finality about that for Michael Atherton. Very well bowled. Bishop has got that to go away from him in the air, and I reckon it's probably gone even further on pitching, and it drew Atherton into the stroke. A good catch by Courtney Brown.
Well, I was just saying how important a force he is for the West Indies, Ian Bishop. Got that height, a very tall man, and was able to move the ball, and he was just beautifully bowled. Craig White is a new batsman. Oh, good running. Very good running. Graham Thorpe 50. Been hard work this morning, but most of the runs came yesterday. Some lovely struck boundaries.
That was a good, crisp, clean shot. Oh. You see how quick the outfield is, and of course Keith Atherton is a wonderful sprinter and absolutely committed to the chase there. Oh, that's a big shout. And Thorpe in all sorts of trouble there.
Well, worth a very big shout, and I think that if anything that might just have been pitched outside off stump, but very, very close. The umpire had a long, long look. Closer than that, I think.
Well, very well bowled again, extremely quick ball, and more injury to the hand or fingers. We see so many of these days. So Thorpe looks all right. He's caught him. Brilliantly caught him. And alas, poor Craig White goes for a firm push into a ball that was bouncing. Beautifully anticipated by the man in a short square leg. Sherwin Campbell, 125 for 4.
Suddenly this game is getting a strange proportion. White just playing that one with the inner part of the bat, top of the pad, and Campbell taking another one of his seemingly endless good catches. He's really a good fieldsman, Campbell, in any position.
125 for 4, and it'll be interesting to see who comes in next. It's to be Jack Russell. Well, a good bit of cricket by the West Indians. They've been keen right from the start of play. They see that there is just a slender chance that this game might be turned quickly in their favour.
Good shot. Simple and very effective.
Yes, this is a good shot. That's pitched about leg stump, short of a very good length, and just pulled the rung, tucked the rung by the wicket keeper.
Oh, beautifully bowled. Jack Russell is out. Kenny Benjamin has this lovely knack of striking very quickly. Ian Bishop and Courtney Walsh have done some good work this morning. This Kenny Benjamin's first over. And once again, he's picked up a wicket in his first over of the day. Well, the new man is Nick Knight, held yesterday in a different sense by Kenny Benjamin, and receiving a warm round of applause from this fifth-day Trent Bridge crowd. This is the wicket of Jack Russell. Perfect line. Must have been a very thin little nick. And just a little fraction extra of bounce enough to beat Jack Russell. Desperately trying to get the bat inside the line, but by the look of it, just that fraction too late. So a good performance again by Kenny Benjamin. He's been called into the attack for the first time. Responded immediately by taking the wicket of Jack Russell. That's a lovely shot from Graham Thorpe. The best shots are so often the ones played simply, just like that.
Caught. Nick Knight has gone, and now we have an interesting situation. Kenny Benjamin has done the trick. First of all, he picked up Jack Russell, and now he's got Nick Knight, and there will be a few tremors in the England dressing room.
Well, I've always felt that the Radcliffe Road end is a better end for Kenny Benjamin to bowl, bowling a little bit with the breeze, but this is a very poor shot. Really, he's not giving himself time or chance to have a look at Kenny Benjamin down from the Radcliffe end. Not get used to his bowling, and he's just flirted with a pretty wideish delivery here. I mean, he could have let that go easily. He's looked to get forward, then changed his mind. The footwork could be a little bit better, could have got across a bit more, and that's a disappointment for the young man who had a nasty blow on the head yesterday. New batsman is Mike Watkinson.
Then All sorts of possibilities opening up there for the West Indian captain. He was into it from the word go this morning, called on a big effort from Walsh and Bishop, and he got that. Also from Benjamin. I like it. In all the hustle and bustle and tension of a test match, that was brilliantly done. Nice sense of humour. The umpires always take the ball from the players. They put it in their pocket. Umpire Mitchley forgot to give it back. Swallowed hard a couple of times. Very good. That's broken the tension a little. Not totally, mind you. But good, sensible cricket from Mike Watkinson. If you get a full toss, it's a full toss no matter what the situation.
Oh, fine shot. Nothing wrong with that at all from Graham Thorpe. It was a nice juicy offering, short outside the off stump. A great example, a perfect cut shot right on top of the ball. That's 4.
Again, Ian Bishop is limping, really walking normally. Having a word there with his captain, but Ian Bishop doesn't look to be coming along normally. Had a long bowl this morning and just come back and doesn't look as good as he did this morning.
Ian Bishop's definitely got problems there. Coming off a shortened run. That is not the action of a man in top health.
This has certainly posed a big problem for the West Indies. Courtney Walsh is already off the field. Now Ian Bishop coming off with his ankle, which allows just Kenny Benjamin as a lone fast bowler in the West Indies team.
Well, Courtney Walsh was off the field. He's hobbling on as Ian Bishop hobbles off. So the West Indies strike force in some disarray. Simple and very effective. Nicely timed shot down the ground. 3 more runs for Mike Watkinson. Well, it's through and out. A swift from Graham Thorpe, just a little under edge. That's a disappointing end to what has been another good innings from Graham Thorpe. And although the ball was short enough from Courtney Walsh, it didn't bounce as Graham Thorpe expected. Courtney Brown takes yet another catch.
Walsh is probably thinking to himself, well, I've finally gotten him out. But this is a vital blow for the West Indian fast bowlers and for the West Indies team.
and England 171 for 7. Dominic Cork in his 4th Test match. And now this partnership takes on a very important aspect for England. And England leading by 194. I think that's one debt repaid.
Quite a few more will be coming along, I think, between here and the end of this series.
That's a good shot. Despite the dive, Dominic Cork is going to get 4 runs for it.
Well, this is a stroke of a batsman who is not intimidated.
That's out as well. Kenny Benjamin has done it. Dominic Cork on his way very quickly. He won't have a chance to resume battle with Courtney Walsh today. And England are 176 for 8.
And I think this bowling performance certainly puts Kenny Benjamin into the frame for man of the match. He had 5 wickets in the first innings, and he's now gotten his 4th wicket. New batsman is Angus Fraser, who is not renowned for his batting. Interesting that he came in before Richard Illingworth.
Well, I'm sure England were hoping that Richard Illingworth wouldn't have to bat at all. I'm assuming that at this stage they will probably push him out come what may. Angus Fraser lasted but 1 ball in England's first innings, and they're in a lot of trouble here, 176 for 8. But a lot of cricket left in this match. Already Kenny Benjamin has worked his way into the record books. He has 9 wickets in the match already, the best ever by a West Indies bowler at Trent Bridge. And that was so nearly the 10th. So anxious moments for the chairman of selectors and the England captain.
Angus is noted for being a bit of a sticker, not a great batsman. He's never short of a bit of courage, and Kenny Benjamin there laughing because the ball, although it was a good one, just kept low. He almost second bounce to the keeper.
Nicely taken. And it's out. Angus Fraser standing again. We'll have to have another quick look to make sure exactly what that came off. But Keith Arthurton dived forward a backward short leg, clutched it just above the ground.
Watch the head go. Yep. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but terrific performance by Kenny Benjamin. 10 wickets in the match is on this particular pitch as well. It's not like getting 10 wickets on that Edgbaston pitch, which was very difficult for batting. This is very flat for batting, except for the spinners. He's always very brave, is Angus Fraser, but we can't expect the tail-ender to do more than the top-order batsman.
First time that Kenny Benjamin has taken 10 wickets in a match in first-class cricket.
New batsman, Richard Illingworth, with a broken finger.
Watkinson can keep him away from the strike. 2 balls left in this over. Oh dear.
Well, I think he was so intent coming in quickly to save the single to him when it came full toss straight at him in the midriff. You know, he's obviously trying not to give an easy single so that Watkinson could keep the strike. Well, I wouldn't say it was a dolly, but firmly hit.
And he was expecting cricket from Watkinson. It means that Illingworth has to face, because the 4 runs don't allow them to change over, but Watkinson knew that was going to be an opportunity to play the pull or the cut.
Yes, I think we can safely say that one of his favourite shots is the pull. Anything short, he's going to have a little dart at it. Little inside edge there off the bottom inside, but it didn't carry to the keeper this time.
Good shot for 4. A tough cricketer, Watkinson. 200 up for England. Good shot for 4 by Illingworth. Last ball of the over. 4. Very satisfying plunk into the boundary ropes and boards. Lead of 242. Ian Bishop is the man on the balcony. Not sure the purpose of not taking the new ball.
It could be also that the West Indies have decided that they're not going to try to get these runs. They've suddenly lost a little bit of pep. The movement in the field suggests a little bit less urgency.
That'll remove a bit more of the pep and zip. It was a good shot from Mike Watkinson, who's now moved to 47.
Now I'm not so sure that the effort is going to be sustained, since Keith Atherton has been brought on, which suggests that the new ball would not be taken, and perhaps the West Indies have decided to settle to just let this game peter out.
Well, it's found the edge. It's got a great chance of finding the boundary too. Dan Raj cutting it off just inside the boundary. But Mike Watkinson goes through to 50. 51 not out to Michael Watkinson. That's been a very, very handy innings at a time when England had some problems to solve. No wonder Mike Atherton is out there applauding his Lancashire colleague. 51 not out of 75 balls. That's a good shot. Even Richard Illingworth will take those offerings. This has been the main problem for Dan Raj all the way through his bowling in this Test match. Too many deliveries, far too short. Applause for the 50 partnership. The last wicket between Mike Watkinson and Richard Illingworth. Illingworth has 12 of those, but the value very much to England there is the fact that he's still in and accompanying Mike Watkinson. Richard Illingworth's been feeling the jarring in that finger, the finger that he broke, the index finger on his right hand, even though the spinners have been bowling.
I wonder if at tea, when they go there at 10 past, whether Mike Atherton might declare.
there's no way the West Indies are going to win now, and we might not want Richard Illingworth to go through any more pain. Good shot. Oh dear. Well, that just about sums up the situation.
Well, the shot deserved 4. And it takes England up to 250, 251. Take that. No reason to ignore such choice offerings. And Mike Watkinson took full advantage. That's gone a long, long way and very high. That's going to be maximum. So Mitchell makes the signal. One too short, 1 too full, 1 for 4, 1 for 6. Well, the cafeteria's open. Another plate full of runs.
269 was the England score at tea time. The reason 9 wickets declared appears there is that England actually went out with Watkinson and Illingworth, the batsman, after tea, but as soon as Michael Atherton saw who would be doing the bowling, and it turned out to be a quick bowler, he called them back in. Illingworth had been hit on his broken hand in the over just before tea, and Atherton wasn't inclined to risk him any further. The bowling figures: the West Indies waltzed 2 for 70, bowled magnificently in the morning. So too did Bishop, 2 for 50, and Benjamin, 5 for 69 to go with his 5 wickets in the first innings, and he bowled 25 overs and 8 maidens. Dan Ray's a disappointment again, 54 from 15 overs. Atherton 13 from 22, but never posed any real danger. Well, that's the way the game stood after 3 innings. England 440 and 269 after that declaration for 9 wickets. West Indies 417. West Indies need 293 to win. We join their innings now. It's the first ball of the second over. Dominic Cork is the bowler. Sherwin Campbell is taking strike. And there are 2 runs on the board. And Brian Lara has gone out onto the field in place of Stuart Williams. He's opening the innings. And for England, there are 2 sub-fielders, Paul Pollard and James Hinson.
From Welly. And he just picked up the length so quickly. It was short, admittedly.
That's down. Flew very quickly to first slip. Angus Fraser will not be a happy man.
That was a straightforward catch, really. A first slip, medium pace. They see it all the way. I mean, nothing much difficult there.
Caught him. Success for Angus Fraser. Brian Lara trying that shot just once too often. And so a bright and breezy 20 for Brian Lara comes to an end. The man on his way out is Shivnarayan Chandapal.
Oh, and he's gone, caught behind. Dominic Cork is struck again. People all round the ground are leaping about. Those who may have laid their bets early in the day on Cork doing certain things, and Sherwin Campbell is the unfortunate victim. People looking at the scorecard in years to come will think that was probably a pretty boring last day, but in fact it was within a whisker of being a very, very exciting afternoon. The West Indies finished at 42 for 2, Lara made 20, Campbell 16, Chanderpaul and Brown were not out 5 and 1 respectively. And the bowling figures for England, just 2 bowlers used, Fraser 1 for 17 and Cork 5 overs, 1 maiden and 1 for 25. That's the state of the game at the end, the match drawn and the series level at 2-all. The man of the match was Kenny Benjamin, and David Gower spoke with him.
Kenny, many congratulations. Not easy bowling on that pitch.
No, it wasn't really easy. It was a flat wicket, you know, but you go back to the basics, line and length, off stump, and it did the trick.
Now, you remember those basics, because you've seen 1 or 2 bumpers being bowled in this series, but the basics do work, don't they?
Yeah, the basics do work. You know, sometimes you get a bit carried away, but it happens, you know.
And looking forward to this final test match at the Oval, a few more wickets there and perhaps a victory?
Yes, I'm looking forward to playing at the Ovals, and I think we can, if we go back to the basics, we can get a victory there also.
All right, well done. Congratulations. Very well bowled. It makes for a wonderful finish to the series.
Thank you.
Kenny Benjamin, a very happy man there, and I'm not surprised. He did a good job for Richie Richardson. 10 wickets in the match, a fine performance. He's got plenty of courage. He changed his style a little in this match and did a very, very good job indeed. The 2 captains, Richie Richardson and Michael Atherton, were with David Gower a little later, and David Gower first spoke with the England skipper.
Michael, an interesting game in the end there. For so much of the game it looked like a batsman's game, but on the last day some interesting moments again.
Yeah, we were having a wobbly period in the last afternoon, but we saw it through, and it was always favourite to be a draw here with this wicket, and it was a fairly solid performance by us in the end.
Even so, some good performances yourself with the bat, and Graham Hick, left out at Old Trafford, recalled here. Was that an innings of character by him?
Yeah, he had to fill a hole left by Robin Smith. We needed a player with experience and some test caps under his belt. He fitted the bill perfectly. Pressure was on him and he played well.
And so all set up nicely for that final test match at the Oval then?
Yeah, it should be a cracker. Hopefully the weather can hold. We'll get 5 uninterrupted days, and it'd be nice to be a result.
Right, Richie, thanks Michael. Richie, it's an interesting last day there. Did you ever think you might actually win this match, having started to take wickets this morning?
Yeah, the thing is with cricket, you never know what's going to happen. You just got to keep plugging away all the time. And matter of fact, yesterday we thought if we had gotten a couple of wickets, we would have been in it, but it didn't work out. And then this morning we started plugging away again, hoping that we'd get a few wickets. We did get a few, but the last 2 batsmen just keep hanging on and really put us out of the game.
And all your players expected to be fit for the final one at the Oval?
Well, I hope so. We're struggling a bit, but we've got guys who are accustomed to play with injuries, and I'm hoping that they can be as fit as possible.
All right, thanks very much to you both.
The 2 captains there looking forward to the final test match at the Oval, and I'm looking forward to it as well. And I know Geoffrey Boycott is doing the same.
For 3 hours today, the West Indies fast bowlers gave England a scare. Benjamin, Walsh and Bishop all got stuck in to the England batsmen and they wobbled. It was left to the injured Richard Illingworth with a broken finger to show courage, and Mike Watkinson to show composure. Watkinson's innings, first under pressure when he had to steady the ship, and then later on to take England to safety, has probably earned him a tour to South Africa this winter. For England, going into the Oval Test match next, it can't be a happy time. They can't be very pleased with the way they batted today on a very good batting surface, nearly getting bowled out cheaply. West Indies, they will feel that they have the firepower to bowl England out on any surface, and the Oval will suit them. So maybe England will have to think of Devon Malcolm. Devon Malcolm we've not heard of for weeks, but he bowled South Africa out last year at the Oval and was England's saviour. Maybe he can do it again too.
Yes, we've had a pretty good match here, and another one coming up at the Oval on Thursday week. I'm looking forward to that very much. It should be a terrific game with these 2 sides skippered by Richie Richardson and Michael Atherton, standing at 2-all going into that match. That's the next Test cricket we bring you, but the next cricket is tomorrow. It's the NatWest Trophy semi-final.